Have you ever felt a strange thrill when everyone else goes out and you stay home? That quiet hum inside that says, "This is where you belong." It sounds odd, but science says loving solitude isn't about being lonely. It's about how your brain is wired. Picture this. You're at a party, the music is loud, the jokes are flying, yet all you can think about is the sweet release of walking home under the stars alone. That craving might be trying to tell you something, and it might be changing you in weird ways you never imagined. But here's the twist. Loving solitude isn't just about comfort. There are hidden effects, some weird, some wonderful, some quietly dangerous. We're diving into the science of solitude, the quirky signs it's affecting you, the unexpected reasons you crave it, and the little traps you need to watch out for. Grab your favorite blanket or step out under the sky, because by the end of this story, you'll never look at alone time the same way again. Let me level with you. Society worships social butterflies. From family gatherings to the relentless social feeds, there's this unspoken rule that being alone is a problem to be fixed. If you're the person who leaves the party early or skips brunch, people might label you as cold or awkward. But psychology paints a different picture. Some brains are wired to find meaning in silence, to recharge in isolation, and to feel alive in the space most people fear. That's not a flaw. It's a trait, and like any trait, it leaves fingerprints all over your life. Let's explore 8 weird signs that loving solitude is subtly shaping you. Sign number 1. You can't stand small talk. The idea of chatting about weather forecasts or celebrity gossip makes your skin crawl. You'd rather dive straight into the deep end, talking about dreams, fears, and philosophies. At a friend's barbecue, while others debate the latest series, you find yourself wondering why we repeat patterns or how childhood shapes personalities. That hunger for depth is a marker of solitude-lovers. Because when you spend time alone, your inner world grows rich, and shallow conversations feel like skipping stones over an ocean. Next time you feel that itch to escape pointless chatter, remember, it's not snobbery. It's your brain craving something real. But what happens when that craving goes unmet? Sign number 2. Your senses are on high alert. People who love solitude often report noticing tiny details others miss. The way the light reflects off a window, the micro expressions on someone's face, the subtle tension in a room. It's like your brain has turned up the volume on life because it spends so much time observing. This heightened awareness can be beautiful, making the world feel vivid. Yet it can also be overwhelming, like trying to drink from a fire hose. You might leave gatherings exhausted because your nervous system has been processing every tone and gesture. Ever wonder why that happens? There's a clue hidden in your biology, but we'll get to that in a second. Sign number 3. Social hangovers are real for you. After spending time with people, you don't just feel tired. You feel drained, like your battery has been ripped out. Psychologists call this the need for recovery, and it's linked to how your brain processes stimuli. Solitude lovers often have sensitive nervous systems, meaning every conversation requires energy. While extroverts leave a party buzzing, you leave needing to decompress in a dark room with your favorite playlist. This doesn't mean you hate people. It means you use a different operating system. The upside. These recovery periods often lead to bursts of creativity and insight. The downside. If you ignore your need to recharge, burnout creeps in. We'll circle back to how to avoid that trap later. Sign number 4. Independence is your default setting. You've learned to solve problems on your own, entertain yourself, and be your own cheerleader. You plan trips alone, take yourself to movies, and find joy in solo adventures. Friends might worry you're isolating, but in your mind, you're expanding. This independence stems from not needing external validation to feel whole. It also means you set high standards for who you let in. While others collect acquaintances like souvenirs, you curate your circle carefully. And here's the wild part. Research suggests people like you are more comfortable taking risks because you're less influenced by groupthink. That sounds great, but it can also lead to hidden blind spots if you never let anyone challenge you. Sign number 5. Your emotions hit hard. Loving solitude doesn't blunt your feelings, it amplifies them. When you're happy, the joy is intoxicating. When you're sad, it's a deep ocean. Scientists link this to heightened emotional reactivity. Solitude gives you space to listen to your feelings without distraction. Think about the last time you watched a sunset alone or listened to a song that made you cry. In those moments, there was no social pressure to hide or minimize your reaction. That's a gift. But intense emotions can also make you vulnerable. If you don't know how to ride the waves, they can knock you down. So how do you balance feeling deeply with staying grounded? We'll unpack that soon. Sign number 6. You create worlds in your head. Solitude lovers are often artists, writers, dreamers, or problem solvers. The quiet space allows your imagination to roam free. While others fill silence with noise, you fill it with ideas. Maybe you've painted imaginary landscapes in your mind, concocted business plans while walking alone, or written stories no one else will ever read. This isn't random. Studies show that solitude enhances creativity by reducing social influence and boosting divergent thinking. The catch: without anyone to bounce ideas off, it's easy to get stuck in loops or doubt your work. The solution might surprise you. Sign number 7. When you bond hard. Because you spend so much time alone, you don't waste energy on relationships that feel flimsy. You search for people who see you, who can share silence comfortably. When you find them, you invest fully. That might mean having a handful of deep friendships instead of dozens of casual acquaintances. This approach can lead to incredible loyalty and intimacy. However, it also makes breakups or betrayals hit harder. When your circle is small, losing one connection is like losing a limb. Are the benefits worth the risk? We'll explore that tension shortly. Sign number 8. The world often misunderstands you. Loving solitude goes against the grain, so people project their assumptions. They might label you shy, antisocial, or arrogant. You might feel pressure to explain yourself or pretend to be more social than you are. That misunderstanding can hurt, especially if it mirrors old wounds. But here's the reframe. The way others see you doesn't define you. Your relationship with solitude is personal, nuanced, and rooted in deeper psychology. Understanding that is the key to turning solitude from a source of pain into a source of power. And that brings us to the heart of the matter. Before we dive into where this love of solitude comes from, let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, a friend of mine quit a busy job in the city and moved to a small coastal town. At first, he felt guilty when he spent afternoons reading instead of networking. His family kept asking if he was okay. But as months passed, something interesting happened. The quieter his life became, the louder his ideas got. He started painting again, taking long walks, and talking to himself out loud. He discovered that his greatest insights arrived in the spaces between tasks. He later told me that he didn't really know who he was until he met himself in solitude. Maybe you felt that too, a sense that the real you only shows up when the noise dies down. This isn't a random anecdote. It's a pattern researchers see over and over. Solitude can be a mirror, reflecting back parts of you that were hidden. It's pretty magical. So what makes someone fall in love with solitude? It's not just a preference. It's an interplay of biology, experience, and choice. Some people are born with highly reactive nervous systems, which makes social environments taxing. Others are shaped by childhoods where being alone was safer than being with people, so solitude became a refuge. Then there's personality. Introversion, intuition, and sensitivity combine to create a craving for quiet. But loving solitude also emerges from deliberate decisions. When you discover that alone time fuels your creativity, heals your anxiety, or helps you connect with your spirituality, you start choosing it. It's like discovering a secret garden inside yourself. The more you tend to it, the more it grows. But even the most beautiful garden can become overgrown if neglected or misused, which leads us to the hidden dangers. Loving solitude has a shadow side. Too much of a good thing can morph into isolation, and isolation has real health risks. When you retreat from social contact entirely, your brain misses out on critical stimuli that keep it flexible. Studies link chronic isolation to higher stress, weaker immunity, and cognitive decline. Emotionally, isolation can trap you in loops of negative thinking. The independence you cherish can mutate into stubbornness, making it hard to ask for help. And the sensitivity that fuels your creativity can turn into paranoia if you're left alone with your thoughts for too long. There are also weird reasons to pay attention. Some research suggests that extended solitude can alter your perception of time, making days blur and motivation dip. Have you ever lost track of time during a lockdown? That's your brain responding to a lack of social cues. The good news: awareness is power. Loving solitude doesn't have to hurt you if you're intentional. Here's where things get interesting. The same science that warns against isolation also shows us how to enjoy solitude safely. The key is balance. Treat solitude like a nutrient, essential but potent. Schedule social contact the way you schedule meals. Reach out to a trusted friend before you disappear into your own world for days. Use your recovery time not just to decompress, but to integrate what you've learned from others. If your creativity stalls, invite someone into your process for feedback. If your emotions feel too intense, ground yourself with simple routines: cooking a meal, walking in nature, calling a family member. Remember, loving solitude isn't about rejecting people. It's about honoring your wiring while staying connected. The weird signs we've explored are not warnings but invitations to know yourself better. They point to strengths like depth, awareness, independence, emotional richness, and creativity. They also highlight areas to watch, like overstimulation, burnout, and isolation. By paying attention, you can use solitude as a tool instead of letting it use you. If this journey through the science and mystery of loving solitude resonated with you, you're not alone. You're part of a tribe of thinkers, artists, dreamers, and seekers who find magic in quiet corners. Cherish that. And if you're just discovering this part of yourself, welcome. There's so much more to explore. We'll be diving deeper into topics like introversion, creativity, and emotional intelligence in future videos. So make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share your experiences in the comments. What weird signs have you noticed in yourself? How do you balance solitude with connection? Your story might inspire someone else. Until next time, embrace the silence, listen to your inner voice, and remember, in a noisy world, loving solitude might be the most radical act of self-love there is.